This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. What you just heard there was me having a little bit of fun with this guitar. This is my Gibson Les Paul Tribute that I bought last year, back in April of last year, 2022. And before we go any further, a little bit of housekeeping. All of the guitar tones you heard there were courtesy of my Marshall DSL-1 combo. There it is, mic'd up with a Behringer B906 microphone straight into the interface and recorded into Reaper. For the clean and crunchy stuff, I was using the amp with those settings there and just varying the amount of dirt by using the volume controls on the guitar. And for the higher gain stuff, same settings on the amp, I was just stomping on the new X-Horseman pedal, which I'm really enjoying, it has to be said. There is, as usual, a full tab for that piece of music in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and a jam track for you to play along with for yourself. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address and the link is in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional resources that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, humongous thank you to everybody who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are also linked down below in the description. So what we're doing today then is basically a little bit of a long-term view of this guitar. Come April, I will have had this guitar a year, and that is something of a record for me and single-cut style guitars. I've owned 3 Gibson Les Pauls in my lifetime, one in the 80s and one in the early 90s, and then nothing until last year, a 30-year gap. But in the interim, I've had many Les Paul style guitars, copies basically, if you want to include the Epiphones that I've had in the in the copy category. I know some people dispute that, but you know, budget, wallet-friendly Les Pauls, and many of them were fantastic guitars. But there was always that new guitar novelty factor, which, you know, most guitars that you get a new guitar, it becomes your favourite guitar for a little while, and that's certainly been the case with many of the single cut guitars I've owned. But you know, after a while, they just seem to end up on the stand or on the wall, most of the time, and I keep going back to like Telecasters usually these days. So what about this one then? Is this a keeper? Did the novelty factor wear off with this guitar? Is it going to be hanging around, or is it going to be kind of moving on to pastures new? Well, I can categorically tell you that this guitar is a keeper. It's like I've had, as I say, many different Les Paul style guitars, and this is the one for me. It takes quite a while sometimes to find the perfect guitar, the perfect Strat, the perfect Telecaster, and in my case, the perfect Les Paul. But I think this is it. Now, let's be charitable here and say that it's fair to say that Gibson don't always have the best reputation for consistency, and I've heard a lot of people talking about how they tried a Les Paul tribute, this is the entry-level Gibson. This is, I think, the cheapest guitar you can buy that actually has the word Gibson up there. Many people have said that they tried one of these and it just felt a bit cheap and not like it was finished properly, and it just didn't float their boat. So maybe I just got a good one. I don't know, but or maybe opinions vary. But I'm prepared to say that yes, there are possibly inconsistencies in Gibson's quality. That said, this isn't a perfect guitar by any stretch of the imagination in terms of its fit and finish. When I first reviewed this guitar, I did point out the fact that there is a noticeable lip between where the curvature of the back of the neck comes round to meet the fingerboard. They are not flush. There's a little kind of, you can feel it if you do that, you can kind of feel it with your fingernail, but, it's a cosmetic thing, and, looking down at it like this, I can't see it, but if I was to look like that, I kind of can see it, and I can sort of feel it with my finger. It's a cosmetic blemish. It doesn't affect the structural integrity of the guitar. It doesn't affect the playability of the guitar. And I think it's fair to say that because of this reputation that Gibson do deservedly have for, things aren't always as consistent as you might like. You kind of price that in when you're buying a Gibson. If you want a guitar that's cosmetically perfect, buy a PRS. Buy an LTD, buy an Epiphone for that matter. But, it was just, I'll admit it, the badge. The badge was a factor for me. I'm not usually that way inclined, but I just wanted, I didn't necessarily want to buy a Gibson to keep. I just wanted to kind of rule it out. Okay, am I a Les Paul kind of chap or am I not? So get a Gibson and see if that's going to float me boat any more than the multiple kind of copies that I've had and budget kind of Les Paul style guitars over the years. And I've got to tell you that whether it's the badge on the headstock or, as I suspect, whether it's just the fact that it's a fantastically well put together guitar, apart from that lip on the edge of the neck, a fantastically well playable guitar, and it sounds so sublime, I think, that I think that's what's swayed me more than anything else. But the badge probably does play a little bit into it. Let's give you a few isolated tones here. I'm still running into the Marshall DSL-1, so for a clean sound, it's fantastic. You just dial the volume controls back to about 3 or 4. There we go. And this is the kind of tone you can get on the middle position. Then, the main reason you buy a guitar like this, bridge pickup, volume control all the way up, we get the classic sort of 70s classic rock kind of crunch thing going on. and then chuck the a little bit of gain on, courtesy of the Horseman pedal, and we get this kind of thing. Neck pickup for that Gary Moore creamy Parisian Walkways tone. Let's see what that's like. It does the job, doesn't it? You know, I must admit, I am looking at funding some more purchases this year as we move forward. And usually when I'm kind of running down a list of what I've got that I can sell in order to fund some new toys to play with, in the past, anything that is a guitar that is sort of this shape, that's been around a while, is usually pretty close to the top of the pile for things that I can get rid of that, can't I? I'm not using it that much, but I've got to tell you, most definitely this guitar ain't even on the list, let alone somewhere near the top. So I'm going to have to put my thinking cap on and, you know, have a good old kind of ruminate and cogitate over what it is I'm going to sell to fund other things. Like I want to get my hands on an Eastman because I've heard so much about those that I'm desperately curious to kind of try one out and see what I think of it. But whatever else comes in the door this year, this guitar ain't leaving, and that's an end of it. So there you go, folks. That is my long-term view of the Gibson Les Paul Tribute. Make of it what you will. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it entertaining and informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Why not drop me a like while you're at it? Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitars. Great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.